it's like a superpower. You know, I can do this. I can play. I can go through this 2-5-1 progression. I can learn this. I can play the standard. You know, you can do it. You don't have to do it, but you know you can.
Hello and welcome to ForBassPlayersOnly.com. I'm John Liebman, founder and first baseman. If you've ever wanted to learn bass, you should know that right now there are thousands of people inside the For Bass Players Only community, a lot of them over 50, and they are learning bass, having the time of their life, playing music that they love. You should come join them and experience that incredible transformation for yourself. Remember, you're never too old to groove, so let's play bass. My guest this week is Marco Renteria. He is a two-time Grammy Award-winning bassist and producer from Mexico City, Mexico, a world-class doubler on both electric and upright bass. He's known for his work with the bands Jaguares and Caifanes. I think I pronounced those both correctly. As a touring, 6 years in Miami, I must have learned something, right? Yeah. As a touring musician and session musician, he's mastered all kinds of music from pop, rock, R&B, soul, funk, jazz, and gospel. And he's played with a who's who of music industry's most respected artists like Steve Lukather, Danny Carey, Tommy Aldridge, Richie Kotzen. And I did not know this until after we had already lined up this interview, but I am a very good friend of your father, Marco Mendoza. When I was in LA, I used to go to these jam sessions. This was like 1991. And there was a guy, and I'd always see him, and we struck up a rapport. We would always see each other, and we would always talk. That was Marco Mendoza. But back to you, Renteria. Your notable recordings include your 2018 full-length solo LP, Inner Voice, and most recently the self-titled album with the group Marked Sky, released in 2022. He's currently on an international arena tour with Caifanes, and he resides in Monterrey, Mexico. This is his first time on ForBassPlayersOnly.com. Welcome, Marco.
Thank you so much, John. It's a pleasure, man, an honor. Wow, you did all your very nice research. Aside that I'm living in Baja California Norte, really close to Tijuana, on the other side of San Diego, but really close.
Thank you for
It's not your fault. I just moved recently, so you got pretty much everything. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. How do I say? Bienvenidos a parabajistassolamente.com.
Bienvenidos. Wow, your Spanish is great.
Well, I used to travel all around Central America, South America, Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia.
No wonder.
Dominican Republic. I couldn't stand it. I said, how do you say? So I got a maestra, a Spanish teacher, and I was writing verbs, 2 o 3 noches para semana, 2-3 nights a week. I'm writing all my verbs, and I really, really wanted to learn. I studied 4 years of French in high school, and then I moved to Miami. It didn't do me a whole lot of good. But this is not about me. It's about you. Tell me about your musical upbringing. I mentioned that your father, Marco Mendoza, I've interviewed him at least, 3 times maybe. Last time I interviewed him, he was playing with Journey, and I ran into him just a few months ago at the NAMM show. So he's a great bass player. He played Whitesnake and Ted Nugent and all those bands. But I want to hear about your earliest days, your musical upbringing. What were you listening to? What kind of music were you exposed to initially?
Well, sadly, my mom and dad, they split when I was a little kid. Whatever, no big deal. Everything's processed now. I love my dad, and my real last name is Mendoza. I was born on purpose, but in Mexico City, because my mom took a Greyhound. They couldn't allow her to fly, and she took a Greyhound almost 3 days to Mexico City from Southern California. So her firstborn were Mexican. So all my siblings are American, and I'm the firstborn, and I'm the only one that is Mexican. And then in time, she got married with someone else, and then my stepdad adopted me legally. So that's why all my paperwork is Renteria. But biologically, Marco Mendoza Jr. is my real name, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I was very lucky. I'm very lucky that while my mom was working, my uncle Alfonso, uh, at the time he was like, I don't know, 19, 20 years old, and he took care of me with my grandmother also. And he was listening to some really good music. So since I was like 4 or 5 years old, I was exposed to Emerson, Lake and Palmer,
Oh,
Gentle Giant, Rush. I mean, no, Rush came later, but Jazz, Genesis. So I grew up listening to this beautiful progressive rock and also classic rock. All the good stuff. Grand Funk Railroad, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, blah blah blah. And then I'm really lucky because my ears were exposed to good music, so I didn't waste time listening to all the other nonsense, So I didn't get infected with, let's say, the silly, pretty basic radio music. It is very commercial, blah blah blah. I don't want to disrespect any music. Now I'm pretty much cool with everything, but at the time I was only progressive and American rock. And that's why I started listening to good music, and then I became keen with buying um, cassettes. For me, were cassettes, and then the CDs, and learning about the information. And then this took me to, for example, to jazz fusion, Weather Report and Mahavishnu Orchestra, and Return to Forever, and from there, man, I started getting in touch with my dad when I was like 13, 14 years old, like 10 years after. And then, of course, he's being the great musician he is. He took me as to many gigs, underage, like hidden, sometimes in the car or sometimes somewhere under the stage where I can witness the magic, So I pretty much, when I spend time with him in the holidays, like the summer or the Christmas or the Holy Week, that is very important in Mexico. It's like 2 weeks period. And then we came to America to spend time with him. So I watch him play, and I learn a lot from him just by watching him. And of course, I wanted to be a musician, and my mom couldn't allow me to be a musician. She didn't want me to be a musician. They had their things, whatever they were, and I understand that she didn't want to. Her firstborn to struggle with music. She had a bad experience with my dad, on the music side, because he was very young. He's a great musician. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but it's understandable. I mean, so I had to finish a different career, man. She told me, whatever you want to do that we can afford with a lot of struggle, and but not music. So I only took one piano lesson when I was a little kid, 1 week before the earthquake on the 85. So that ended my possibilities of becoming a good musician, And then when I finished high school, my stepdad offered me, what do you want to do? I want to be a orchestral upright bass player, playing bow and everything. I had this dream when I was playing with a tuxedo and everything, playing in an orchestra. It's a dream that I still remember. And he supported me, and he took me to Escuela Nacional de Música, National Music in Mexico City, for to see if I was good at it, blah blah blah. And they say, okay, you can do college here and also the music career, then the conservatory. And I was going to do it, and then my mom said no. So blah blah blah. I had to I choose something else, and I studied to become airframe and power plant mechanic for aviation, and then I was gonna do for pilot, blah blah blah. So I studied 3 years and a half in Mexico City, and then came to America to get my tests for the FAA at Burbank and Van Nuys, and pass all those tests. And then I was like 21 already, almost 22, and then my dad was playing. He was endorsed by Fernandez Bases at the time, and I told him like, please help me get a bass, and he got me like a Fender jazz bass, white 4 string, and then I put together some bread. I was working, and then I saved, and I bought myself with discount fretless five, no frets, and then went back to Mexico, and I was supposed to be doing my work in the aviation, and then I starved myself because I was like, how do you say, I studied too much. I was too young to have that degree, that license, so nobody wanted to hire me. So for a year, after all that studying and all this testing, I couldn't find work because I was too young for that in Mexico, believe it or not. Gladly, and at that time I switched to music. I had this friend that I found in a club, Aaron Cruz, who became my teacher, and then he found out that Marco Mendoza was my dad, and we became really good friends. And he started teaching me technique and stuff, and share a lot of music with me, like all these mixtapes, and later on the CDs, with different bands. He exposed me to a different music, more like traditional jazz. He's like a jazz musician in Mexico, and then from there, man. And then I decided to finally, when somebody hired me in Tijuana to come up and start working on jumbo jets and overhauls and stuff like that. I had like a 2 week break, and then I went to see my teacher, and I was like kind of sad because I couldn't keep attending the lessons with him, And he told me that I was really talented, because he gave me a lot of lessons to practice, and then in a week I was ready. I was really hungry, man. I was like practicing, how it is. I don't know, sometimes more than 10 hours a day. Watching TV badly, but at least moving the fingers or walking to the kitchen, or I don't want the toilet sometimes. I mean, just for number one, and washing my hands, of course. But I was in love with the bass, and then he offered. I said, I'm really sad because I'm gonna leave, and I'm not gonna have the time to keep attending the lessons with you. And he offered me a gig that he did not want to do anymore, as a sideman for a pop band in Mexico. There, he was very famous. And I told him, man, I don't know anything. I didn't go to music school. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. And he told me, if you go to that rehearsal playing like you came to me, and you knew all the Police tunes by ear, by heart, and you play them, if you played like you played with me and memorize all this music, he told me it's only 15 songs. It's super easy music, pop. And then long story short, like, I jumped into it. I quit the aviation, and then I went for rehearsals, and of course all the musicians were from music schools, with degrees and everything. I was like the street guy, like playing by ear. And when they were mentioning like crescendo or the coda, or all this Italian music lingo, I was, yeah, sure. And then I had the charts in front of me, and I was pretending like I was reading, and I just knew the tunes by heart, and they didn't find out. They didn't find out. The pianists, there were two keyboardists, like three. Once we were on tour, we became friends. His name's Rodolfo Fito Mendoza. He's really good, and he came and told me, "You listen. I don't want to disrespect you, but I got you, man. Like, you don't know what's happening." And I said, "No." He said, "No worries, man. I help you." And a dear friend of mine still, and a great attitude. And of course, this job allowed me to start touring straight to professional, and learning everything, man, from monitors, from the mixer, from everything, learning. And then of course keep taking lessons more often with Aaron. And then I start to taking lessons with Agustin Bernal upright, and then I attended some degrowth advanced harmony course, like for a year. So
That must have been a long time ago. That's cool. Closed years ago. Was Joel DeBartolo there when you were there?
no. It was Tony Bravo. He was like the representative in Mexico City at the time. He was like the guy giving like sharing all this information. And it was great. It was great, but I studied a lot, like work on the weekends and learn everything from touring and behaving and being on time and the tour life, and making enough rest to spend.
What was your mom's reaction to all this?
She was angry at me because like I was the hope for the family on both sides, the firstborn on both sides, and the first one that is going to school and finish a degree, and she stopped talking to me for a couple of years. Yeah, so I mean, maybe hello, but like really, really sad, and I understand my mom now. She's in heaven now for more over than 10 years, but I don't how do you say, I understand her point, because it could be a hard life. It's true, if you can get lost really easily. And he was just worried about me, she wanted the best for his kid, and that was her experience. But in time I show her that I was really for the music, and a clean musician, working and making a living and respectable behaving. So I earned her trust again, a few years after, and I even took her to the Grammy ceremony in Las Vegas. So, and I gave her one Grammy to her. So, this was like 15, 17 years after. So, yeah.
I'm sure that helped. What
Yeah,
about the band? Was it just natural and obvious that would be your chosen instrument because of your dad and all those shows and gigs that he took you to?
Well, originally, like most bass players, I wanted to be a drummer. I don't know about you, but I wanted to be a drummer. Of course, I didn't
I
have
thought bass players needed to be guitar players.
well. My dad first guitar player. Well, you guys were first guitar players and then switched to the bass. Me, I
Yeah.
wanted to be a drummer. I wanted to play like Stuart Copeland, and Neil Peart, and
Carl Palmer.
Carl Palmer, these guys, and John Bonham. I wanted to be a drummer. I was playing air drums all the time, everywhere, like. And I didn't have a drum set, man. I had a friend in high school that allowed me to practice a little bit, but I don't know, 30 minutes, nothing. I didn't really learn anything. But when I listen to music, I hear that it's more easy for me, more natural, the rhythm parts and the bass, the bottom. For some reason, I don't know. I didn't know that it was the electric bass. If it was keyboards or whatever it was, the trombone or bow or cello. So all these melodies stick in my brain easy. The low register and the rhythm. So, and I am a really great fan of the Police and Sting's bass lines. I was singing all his bass lines more than anything, man. When I would listen to all these records, I was like singing all his bass lines. So and then I started hanging with my dad, and I watching him play the fretless six-string bass and playing like the great bassist he is. He's one of my 3 top favorites alive today in the world. He's amazing. He just happened to be my dad, but I watched this guy master the instrument like that and sing and be in the show, playing at Lavalley, in the summers. And I was there with Joey and first it was Otmaro Ruiz, and then Renato Neto, and then Steve Wengard. And then I was exposed to all this beautiful music. One time I remember before all this, like when I was like 16, 17, I went to visit him, and then he went for a short tour, I don't know, like a weekend, and then I stay at his place. So I start reviewing all his long plays, his vinyls, and I was listening to them one by one. I wanted to hear what he was listening when he was a young musician, and then I found Black Market, and then I start playing Black Market, and that was the moment. I didn't know it was Alfonso Johnson or who Jaco Pastorius was. I didn't know anything, you know. I knew my dad played Tin Town from Jaco Pastorius, but I didn't know who Jaco was, you know. But and then when I listened to this record, man, it's like explosion in my brain, you know. It's like, because for me it was perfect. It had Latin, you know, rhythms, a little African, and it was the intricate harmony and the keywords, and then the masterful bass playing, and Alex Acuna, and pow, and Wayne Shorter, you know, with all the jazz sophistication. So the perfect album for me, and this is the one that really wanted me to become a musician. This one, like, I want to play like this, you know, and so
Definitely
this
a
happened.
classic.
Listen, yeah, fantastic.
Tell me a little more about what's keeping you busy now. You're in the middle of a tour. You're in your hotel room right now.
Yeah,
You're
we're in
touring with
Phoenix, and
Kaifan.
we're Caifanes, which is like the most important band for me, being from Mexico City. I'm really, really proud to be playing with them. They've been
Tell me about the
around,
band.
yeah, they've been around almost for 40 years, and they started all in Mexico City. They like became really big in the 80s, you know, like 87, and this rock and español movement, and they became huge, man. They are like for me, like the Rolling Stones, like the Led Zeppelin from Mexico, because we're more rock and roll oriented. Although they have a lot of tunes on the radio, and they have no problem getting into that melodic, I don't want to say pop side, but, you know, more accessible to everybody, you know. And they're huge, and I'm super lucky to be playing with them. Very honored, you know. I'm playing tunes that I listened when I was a young kid, you know, and it's like a trip for me to be playing these tunes next to them now. And we started this tour last week. We're gonna be busy all month. We started in the Hollywood Bowl, and then we went to Las Vegas, the Planet Hollywood, very beautiful theater, and then we went to Palm Desert, and then we went to Chula Vista. We played last night in Phoenix. We're traveling tonight to Salt Lake City, and then Denver, Albuquerque, and then we do Texas, and then we're going up to. We're gonna be in New York. We're gonna be in Toronto, and Chicago, and then we're gonna be doing it all month. You know, it's great, the tour life right now. Without a bass, I should have one of my headless basses with me right now. I don't know what happened. I have a couple, and I didn't bring any of them. So I should be practicing right now. But yeah, super happy, super honored to be playing with them. I really enjoy being with them. They're really good people, and I really like the band, and I believe the lyrics. You know, there are artists for me, not just entertainers. You know, there's nothing wrong with being entertainers. Before me playing with Jaguares, which is like the previous band, you know, that I play with the same singer and drummer. I was a sideman for many other artists in Mexico City, like Cristian Castro and Cava and Pepe Aguilar. And I also play with Lila Downs and tour in Europe and many different places and theaters, you know. I like 15 years of experiences as playing as a sideman and learning, and brought me to play with Jaguares. And since then, I've just been playing with them. You know, after Jaguares stopped, I became Saul Hernandez. He's the singer. He recorded 2 albums, solo projects. I recorded the albums, and I toured with him. And then right before the pandemic, the original bassist, Sabo Romo, the original member for this band, he had some issues, and they called me because they know I know the songs, no rehearsal, you know, I no sound check, and that's the way I show up, you know. They know me, that I'm professional, that if they call me a couple of days before or something, I jump on it, and I'm gonna show prepared, and that's what happened. So I played with them for like a couple of months before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened. And in the middle of the pandemic, they invited me to be part of the band. I don't know what happened with them. You know, it's their thing. You know, I really admire the original bassist. Great bass lines. You should check him out. check him out, especially in the first two albums, you know, the Black album, we call it, and then the El Diablito, like really beautiful stuff, man. Very original, some dissonance and beautiful, you know, choose of notes and harmonics. Very nice bass line. So it's fun for me to be playing here. And now they allow me to do my thing, you know, which is, you know, it's hard because you want to honor the original bass line, but at the same time they tell you, okay, we know you can play it like this, and most of the people want to hear it like this, but we want to hear you, and we want to see what you can do with it, take them somewhere else. So, you know, it's a responsibility, and it's beautiful, and it's great, and allows me to keep rolling as a musician, you know, like choosing if I'm playing too much, or you know.
Yes. Yeah, it's a balance that you have. I've interviewed a lot of people like,
Yeah.
with Bailey stepping in for Jocko, or people playing in Pat Metheny's band after Mark Egan with a Linda.
Mark Egan, yeah, of course. Oh my God.
And what's the name? Lizick plays for Brian Wilson, all those Beach Boys tunes.
Well,
And he says, well, California Girl, what am I going to do with that? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom,
no,
boom,
those you have to play the same. Yeah, you have to play the same. Yeah. Just last night we were listening at the pool, that music, the drummer and I, like just listening is music, and we were listening a lot of Chicago, and what Peter Cetera. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Like really, really underrated, great bassist. Like wow, like amazing. I mean, everybody knows this, but you listen to the music again, and he was like really playing some cool stuff, like swing, and, you know.
Yeah. 1 hour from now, after you and I are done, I'm going to interview Eric Baines, who's playing with Chicago.
Oh, wow.
I interviewed Jason Sheff a couple of times and Brett Simons, but hey, tell me about your basses, your gear. I know you're a big fan of NS9 stuff.
Yeah, just recently I met Corey Redonet in the NAM show, you know, and I approached him and I told him who I was, you know, the NAM show, you know, like for many years I played different brands, you know, we all done it, you know, active basses, and then I switched to Fender, stick with Fenders, just basses and P basses, and of course I have my fretless basses, etc. But sometimes we play like 3 hours shows here with this band sometimes, and after playing 5-string fretted bass, you know, it's heavy. It's heavy, you know. Sometimes I jump a little bit. I'm not one of those showmans, but I move, so my back start feeling it, you know. So I said, okay, it's time for me to start checking out something. It's going to be lighter, you know, and it's more comfortable, but also it's going to sound great. And I've been doing it for a couple of years, and other brands I won't mention because it's not the point, you know. Good designs and everything, but not quite there with the sound, you know. Like I didn't the sound didn't cut me, you know, like a bass is like, oh, what am I gonna do? It looks great, feels great, it's really light, but what am I gonna do with this tone? There's no tone, you know? I cannot work with this, you know, like.
Which basses do you play? The NS designs, which ones do you play?
No, I mean, the first one that really got me is the Radius, the 5 fretless. It's amazing. It's like, and I'm really particular about the fretless tone, you know, like you know, there's a wide variety of fretless basses out there. Anybody can choose whatever they want, but for me, there's a particular thing that I want to hear when I play a note. And the only one that has done this for me is the Radius, you know. And also, aside from that, you know, with the piezo, you can go a little acoustic. It's just a great instrument. It's like a spaceship, you know. The design is perfect, and it fits you well, and the balance it never goes like this. It stays there, you know. It's no effort. It's effortless instrument, you know. It's beautiful, even if the string are a little high. It's easy to play, even with higher tension, you know. So And then, so I approached him, and that's what I'm playing right now. But before that, I bought the upright. But my first approach with at the NS, it was like 25 years ago. My upright bass player teacher, he sold me one of his 5-string, and it was great. And at that time, I was playing it with a whammy, and making these crazy sounds, like going down on the octave and going high. And it was very nice because being a 5-string, I didn't have to worry with going up, so I could stay there in position. I didn't have to go up, like in positions. It's hard sometimes when you have to go up there. It's hard. So I could stay here, super comfortable, and but I sold it because I was playing also with a jazz trio with a great pianist from Argentina, and one time I show up with a rehearsal with a fretless, and he said, "Man, I don't want to play with the fretless. I really like you're playing with the upright." But I told him, "But it's electric, man. It's not the real thing. It's not acoustic, so it's pretty much the same. I'm more comfortable playing the fretless, and I can get a similar tone on the fretless if I play, with my fingers here and the middle pickup, the fretboard picker." And so he said no, and he quit the trio because I was playing the fretless. Yeah. So since then, I said I'm gonna use the fretless, and I'm back then we were young. Now we're still friends, and I get his point now. He wanted to hear that as a pianist acoustically. He wanted to be part of that resonance with the ride and the piano. I understand it, but I didn't get it at the time. I got angry at him, and I said, "Okay, I'm gonna grab the fretless, and I'm gonna get a tone that you will never believe, man. And I'm gonna play with all these jazz cats in Mexico," which I did. They will tell me like, "But you comes from the street. Do you know how to play Donna Lee?" I'll get it. And then I was like, until I get it, and I got it faster than them. And I played, but memorized all the changes and everything. And I told them, "Okay, I can play this now. Can you play what I want?" And I'll give them a chart of a remark you make. And I told, "Oh, no, that's too much." So I'm learning the music you want me to learn by ear and by memorize and everything, the melody, and you cannot side read this. Come on. So, I like to fight them, like, okay, I'm the rocker to these guys, and but now it's all good. It's just music.
That's
and friendship.
What kind of amp do you play through?
I'm playing a Fender, a Bassman, which I love. I played Ampex many times before. Like everybody else, they are great. And I was endorsed by David Eden. Eden amplifiers. Those were the world tour. Amazing. 2 410s and the world tour 800. Amazing, but it was a little fragile. To take him on tour. It was fragile. This had many issues with it. Not really reliable. It's more like, for me, my experience is more like for a studio or small gigs where you can really grab it and take it yourself and put it there and take good care of it. And then I also
What about go ahead.
I also had an endorsement by a little time with EBS, but EBS is a great brand, but I have no support of them in Mexico. It's gone. It's nothing. So it's like, so in America maybe, but they're not like don't mean any disrespect, but they're not as big as Fender or other brands,
Yeah,
so
they're
and
great
Fender,
guys.
I really
So
Ralph.
Ralph Bielbo.
Yeah.
Great.
But they have great stuff. He was really nice to me, and he sent me a beautiful amplifier, a 210, and a head that I use for small gigs everywhere and recordings, and some pedals that I still have, like the Octabass and the
Dynaberg. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, very nice pedals. Yeah.
Tell me about your pedals and effects and all that stuff.
I pretty much use the Dynaberg, the Octabass. I have a preamp. It's a Fender preamp. It's really nice. Before that, I used for many years the Gene Dunlop, the MXR DI. I love it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
that little thing. It's not super expensive, but it works great for me. And I have custom overdrives, like a fuzz, and I use it not most of the time, just every once in a while. And it's not. I don't have many pedals. There was a time when I believe the tone comes from the hands, and the dynamics and the attack and how you use the amplifier, the overdrive. I mean, so I try to use more my hands and the position in the instrument, the attitude, the attack. But I color a little bit with chorus and a little not too much reverb, chorus and the overdrive. Of course, a tuner. I have a chord that I love. The black thing is classic, simple. And what else do I have? And I have a fuzz that is made by a friend in Denver. Um, Apache guitars. He builds like really nice amps and everything, customized, and it sounds great. It's the best that I ever heard. And I have some other stuff at home. Like I recently, they gave me. I work with IK Multimedia also, and they gave me a very nice pedal, and I'm checking it out little by little. I'll see the digital. For me, it's more the analog, but I'm studying it at home when for the sounds, and I'll see if I switch. We'll see.
All right. I want to ask you about playing bass and learning bass. You've got such a great perspective on how to learn bass because of your upbringing, your dad, and your experience. For Bass Players Only is really a bass instruction site. And we've got people from pretty much every state in the US and 50, 60, probably more than that, countries worldwide.
Yeah.
Coming to For Bass Players every day to learn bass. And most of them are, well, how do you say it? Silver aged.
Yeah,
50s,
beautiful.
70s.
Amazing.
I've got students in their 80s. And some people think, oh, I'm too old to play bass, or it's too late, or I
No.
missed the. And no. So, and sometimes things like arthritis and tendonitis they creep in. But the point is, these people aren't trying to be professional musicians. They want to play some classic rock riffs with their buddies. They want some blues
Have
shuffles,
fun.
maybe some R&B. Yeah, have fun. So I tell you all that just to give you a context, because I want to ask you, Mark, what advice you impart to somebody like that who wants to learn bass, play their favorite music, and have fun? What should they be thinking about? What kind of goals should they have? What kind of questions should they be asking? What about technique? Jump in anywhere.
Okay, well, I think it's beautiful, and I think there's no age for you to enjoy music. So I'm bravo for what you're doing, man, and to all the fellow bass player colleagues. Like it's super important that you do something that makes you feel happy. Music is like therapeutic, and it's really nice. And of course, there's a lot of people that just want to play bass and learn the lines and stay there. And that's enough for them to be happy. It's great. No, I have no problem with that. But it's very nice when you learn, because when you learn and understand the music language, you have a wider perspective, and you get to understand from the inside maybe how that bass player particularly was thinking about that chord, and that why he became so. It becomes more interesting when you learn the music. It gives you more freedom, and maybe not just playing the bass line as it is, which is great. There, I have no problem. It's hard actually to do it. It's very admirable if you learn and try to copy a bass line. Is great. But if you understand what's happening with the chords and the progression, then you can also have a lot of fun by doing it a little different yourselves, and this is going to allow you to start jamming with other friends, and maybe they're going to start calling you. They're going to ask for your phone, and then you're going to, aside from just being rehearsing at home with your friends, maybe you're going to go out and have some fun playing, and who knows? It's never too late. You become first call for somebody. So I really recommend that you guys learn the music language, and this for this you like you have to do some homework. It's true, but it's worth it. It doesn't have to be. It's not boring. It can be very. It's a lot of fun, It's not like you're suffering. Oh, I'm learning the C major in four different positions. It's beautiful. For me, it's fun, man. This is fun, like I practice in front of a mirror, and then I'm like qualifying myself, and it's very nice, and it's therapeutic, and I feel very happy. And then when I show up at a gig, and I, without even noticing, I'm applying something that I learned at home, sitting next to my amplifier. Or so I think it's beautiful music. We all need in our hearts, and it's nice. Sounds like you're doing a great school here, sharing the information. So, bravo, man. I'm gonna be a participant now. I'm gonna inscribe myself too. So, bravo. So, just learn the music. Learn the music. It doesn't have to be boring. All your modes, understand them, and then if you want to become really good at sight reading, well, you have to practice. Like I told my students, I'm not a genius. I'm not one of those that could play everything right away. I had to practice, and then little by little, you start seeing that you are better at it, and it gives you a lot of satisfaction, personal satisfaction, which gives you more security as a person, and it makes you a happier person. It's like, you can do this, and you don't have to be doing it all the time, and it's like a superpower. I can do this. I can play. I can go through this 2-5-1 progression. I can learn this. I can play the standard. You can do it. You don't have to do it, but you can. They show up to a gig where you maybe just have to groove on one chord, which is really hard too. It's not super easy. Super hard to play just one chord tunes. It's like super hard, but you know what I'm trying to say. And it's nice. It's like the music is different every day. It changes. I don't know anybody who can say that they know they know it all. Even the masters like Patty Tucci, and these guys keep learning and sharing their experiences, and it's a lot of wisdom in music, and a lot of things to learn, and very important for me. Once you sort of learn and understand how the language works, then you can escape from those rules. But it's very different if you escape from them, knowing them first, then you just go crazy. Like I said, there are some geniuses in time that didn't know about all this harmony and all of that, and they play beautiful things that we all try to copy. I get it, but there are other musicians that you can tell they know, and it's fun to listen to all this music, like John Paul Jones. He knew what he was doing for sure, and Greg Lake too, and Sting, he knew some harmony, and he knew his way around some jazz on the upright. And then he became, doom, 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 3 notes. Super powerful bass player, because he knew how the notes and the relationship with the intervals work in a chord. So yeah, it's interesting, man, to learn the music. It never stops, and it's a lot of fun. So it's never too late to start doing it and enjoy it, and forget about what others say, and don't compare yourself. Just enjoy the trip. It's no fight, but if there's competition, it's with you in the mirror, practicing in the mirror, and the more you do it, the better you're gonna become at it, and it's fun. That's all I have to say for now, man. And excuse my English for everybody, my horrible accent. I hope I'm not bothering anybody, but I spent a lot of time in Mexico, and it's hard for me to switch to English sometimes. Sorry.
Your English is just fine. Beautiful. It was all very well stated. Great stuff. Thank you so much, Marco, for that.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions for you. What about the future? What else would you like to do that you haven't already done? Is there something, someday I'm gonna, or is there something else that you already have planned that we didn't talk about?
Yeah, I'm working on a very personal project. Um, like this album of basses, me playing different type of basses that I have, but it's not particularly about the bass. It's more about the music. It's not like I'm gonna be. It's not gonna be like a showcase of techniques. I mean, it's gonna be, but that's not the purpose. It's not like me trying like I can play slap. And, no. It's about the music, more about the composition and the sounds and what you feel when you listen to it. So it's hard. It's hard because to approach this, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to make it happen. But it's not easy. It's not an easy task. And I'm working on it. And I have newer compositions, and I'm recordings at home. Getting ready to maybe go to a proper studio and get a proper recording of upright with three or four microphones in a nice room, and also the acoustics, and put all this together. And maybe I have also some duos with some friends, not particular bass players. I don't know if it's going to be a record of 10 songs, or it's going to be an EP of 5 and the other EP. We'll see. And of course, I want to keep playing. But now, gratefully for me, being able to tour with this band, when I go back home, I love being with my family, with my kids and my wife. Super important for me to balance this. And I need it. And I have learned that to be able to do this is music also, because yes, you can know a lot of theory and notes and all of this, but with no personal experience is shallow for me. My point of view is like you need to have something else, like it becomes music through you, whatever it is. I don't know, riding the bike or going to a lake or whatever you want to do. And for me, it's my kids and my family. And this has balanced me a lot. So now I don't have much time like I did before. I have at home a little workstation, a little studio, and then the door is closed. It's open for my kid when he wants to grab a bass or play the piano. But it's like a sanctuary for me, and I don't necessarily go there every day because I can't. Because when I go back, my wife needs me, my kids needs me. I need to be a dad and take them to the school and eat with them. But there's some moments where I when I have quality time, and then I go and I enter, and it's my zone, and I go like it's like truly like the first time I grab a bass, like I'm so fresh, and I have no, like I have to do this unless somebody hired me to record, and then for that I schedule a time to do it, and I'm professional about it. I can record some stuff from home. I have, like any other bass player, some different type of basses and different sounds and blah blah blah. And it's work. When it's work, I approach it like that. But when it's for me, it's like I close the door, man, and I'm just start playing the bass, searching, and whatever gets my. Sometimes I play it. I don't. I'm not worried about the progression. I'm not worried about. Okay, this is the sixth. It goes to the third and the second. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just grabbing the bass and enjoying it. And then when I hear something that resonates with me, then I start, I got something, and then I jump into it. That's how I write, mostly on the bass and on the guitar, And so it comes from a very, more like from here and my ears than from here. And then after, okay, what I'm doing here, okay, now I can maybe use the bass here and all of that. Apply the little knowledge that I know. Yeah.
That's great.
But I want to keep playing with friends. I'm sorry for this, John. It's very important. Since just like for the last 5 years, it's super important for me just to be playing with friends. Or I mean, not everybody's gonna be my friend, like truly a good friend, because from those you get like, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 in your whole life. But good people, you good humans, even if they have a different belief, different faith, whatever. But if they behave good to you, that doesn't mean that they cannot be strict or critics. I mean, that's all good as long as good people in goodwill, for the sake of the good music and sharing. So I have no time to be playing with, which I did a lot when I was younger. We all have to, because we're going through that. We're trying to escape that, that bucket of crabs, we call it in Mexico, the crabs that are trying to drag you down. They see you're doing something good and they're like, no, you stay here with me. And then finally, when you escape, you don't want to play with that mindset, that type of people anymore. So you have time or energy to do it. So it's very important for me I approach music as something sacred. I don't want to sound too religious or anything like that. So music is something beautiful. It's very nice. So if you're vibrating, like the notes with good people, it's better. It's better. It's easier, and it's funnier. So that's it. Sorry, man, for interrupting. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful. I do have one last question for you.
Sure.
If you could, what would you be if you were not a bass player? Something outside of music.
Wow. Well, I was going to be a pilot, an airplane pilot, but now that I travel a lot in airplanes, I don't think that's So let me think about it. I like cooking a lot, so maybe a chef. I would have chosen gastronomy. I love the food. You can tell. I love the food, and I like the good flavors. And when it's a good dish, and the chef, I don't know even if it's a good taco, whatever. I'm not talking about expensive food. When it's good food, it's great. So, and when I'm at home and I cook, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Like buying the stuff and taking my time. And sometimes I cook for 3 days when it's Christmas, man, and I enjoy it. I end up really, really tired and everything, but I enjoy it. It's nice. I don't complain. So maybe cooking. Yeah.
That's
cook.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. You cook something, we'll enjoy it together.
Yeah, sure, for sure. Yeah, man. Next, when we see in person, hopefully soon.
Yes, I will look forward to that. Thank you so much, Marco. This has been great, and I just wish you nothing but everything that you do in your professional life and your personal life, and just very inspiring talk. I'm really glad.
Thank you, man. God bless you, and fellow musician friends here, and keep enjoying. Just keep grooving the world. The world needs more groove. We need to make people happy. First of all, ourselves, and then so we can share it, spread it throughout the humanity. Give some like Joe Zawinul said. Like bring some peace through music. So
I can't think of a better note, Marco. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. You're watching ForBassPlayersOnly.com. I'm John Liebman, founder and first baseman. A lot of people are in the For Bass Players Only community right now. If you've ever wanted to learn bass, you should see what these people are doing. They are learning bass, they're playing music that they love, and they're having the time of their life. Come join them and experience that incredible transformation for yourself. You heard Marco talk about how wonderful it is and all these different perspectives that you may not have thought of. So come join us. Love to have you here. Thank you so much to my special guest, Marco Renteria. I will see you back here, same time, same place next week. In the meantime, let's play bass.